Hello and welcome to my build guide of the Adeptus Titanicus Warbringer Nemesis Titan with Quake Cannon, Volcano Cannon and Laser Blaster. One of these models will set you back £55, which is in between the price point of a Reaver Titan and a Warlord Titan. It's very interesting to note that this model has a total of 144 components, which is the same number of components as the Warlord Titan. I thought I'd do this video as a little build guide, taking you through some of the steps that I normally take when building models. I typically am building something every day, and it's usually for the channel to get a review out. And I thought that I would share the steps I go through with you. This will be edited, this video. It won't be like a live video. If you want to see me build a model live, please do put it in the comments below. I appreciate your support. I would like to do some live sessions, either building models or painting them. So if you'd like to see more content similar to this, please do, put it in the comments, because typically I do my unboxings and reviews, and I do a couple of other things outside of those, but I'd like to just change the content up a little bit. Okay, so this is the Warbringer Nemesis Titan. I do have one of these in 40k scale. It's absolutely huge. There will be a review of it at some point. I just want to show you my desk. So I've got this big cutting mat here. If we just move the camera around slightly, I've got an LED lamp, and I've got some other tools here. I'll go through each one of those in a moment. So there are, I say, 3 tools that I can't really live without whenever I'm working on a kit. That is my clippers. I use the Citadel clippers. I've had them for 6 years or so. I wouldn't suggest you use them from resin because they will break. Even harder plastic like the scenery pieces, I'd rather use some more industrial clippers like these, cheap ones that you don't really mind. I mean, look, there's even dents in the clipper head there where the plastic has been very hard, or maybe that was in metal, I'm not sure. But either way, get yourself a good pair of clippers that will make short work of any sprues. This has clearly gone through hundreds and hundreds of models. Then the other tool I like to have is my scalpel. It's just a Swan and Morton one. Even though it's flat, it just works for me with the precision. And the blades themselves, I just replace them every couple of months or so. They're very cheap, and it's so easy to replace, and it's held up really well. And then finally, the next tool is my file. Don't leave home without one of these. It's very good for mold lines. I don't like scraping the mold lines off and then using this. I'd rather just use one tool, and this works for me. It's just a little Games Workshop file. You can buy them in a set of 2. This one is a smoother one. This one will polish the plastic afterwards if you really want to go that way. But you've got like a yellow one and a brown one. Other tools in my arsenal is if I need to drill any barrel holes, I've got one of these hand drills. Of course, I've got another one here which has different heads, and they're both really easy just to unscrew and put a different drill bit in, and they work really well. Even with this very small drill bit though, it has been difficult to drill out the holes in the bolt pistols of the Sisters of Battle, so that's about at its limit. I've also got a few other files, but they're mainly for my scenery pieces where the plastic is thicker and the mold lines are thicker. I also use these for resin, and then I've got a little brush to brush away any dust that you get from filing. And then I've got 2 types of glues, just Citadel glue and Revel glue. They both work very well. I tend to use this for scenery and this for the models. They both work wonders. You just, obviously, because they're nozzles, it's quite precise, but you just got to be careful that you don't overdo it with the glue. And if you do, and they do drip, I have a bit of tissue on the mat so that the mat doesn't get melted, but you can probably see a few places where it has. At some point, it's inevitable. Okay, so they're all of my tools. Let's just go through the stages that I go through when I build one of these models. So firstly, I do an unboxing video. That's not much more needs to be said about that. I have a good look at the reverse, and if there are any weapon options and things, I take my time in deciding what to go for. Usually I go for what looks coolest in my opinion, but I also like to balance that out if I can with their rules in game, and try and balance it out as fair as possible in terms of showing you as many options as I can. The recent Sisters of Battle Retributor Squad review is a great example of that, where I chose a heavy flamer, a multi-melter and heavy bolter. I think I chose 2 multi-melters, but that was to give you a look at every option in the set, because I could have just gone with 2 multi-melters and 2 heavy bolters, or 2 heavy bolters and 2 heavy flamers. You get the message. Anyway, with this one, it just comes with these weapons. You can magnetize the Reaver weapons on its arms, so just bear that in mind if you wanted to change that. Those weapons are Battle Titan weapons anyway. Let's unbox this again, and we'll get it all ready. So this has a cardboard tray in here, and usually I like to keep the box on the table or just turn it around to give me a bit of inspiration. You've got this oval base, which I think is the same size as the Warlord Titans one, and it comes with the 3 sprues. And usually I get a kit, and I quickly clip off the parts that are quite large and put them to one side, or parts that I'm quite familiar with if it's a repeat kit. So this is my first time with the kit, so I think I'll just go from the top. I tend to move all the rules aspects and things, you know, the command terminals, and put them to one side. I've got a area where I keep all my transfer sheets, so I put that right there, and then we have a little look at the instructions themselves. So what I like to do is just find the pieces first of all, as usual. So you've got an AO1 and an AO2. So this is the A sprue. It's difficult to find the A, but it's right there, and you want O1, which is there, and 2, which is over there. So I'll go ahead and clip them out, quite straightforward. And I like to keep it, so this is AO1, so that's on the left. I keep that on the left side of my cutting area. Keep that on the right side, and then it's joined with a number 3, which looks like some kind of vent system for the engine maybe. Sometimes it's nearby the numbers, sometimes it's somewhere else. It's right here, so I'll clip that. So that's my main piece, but I like to go, you know, usually one step further. And then you've got O1. Now it's got a little paintbrush symbol. That one says here, painting subassembly optional. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm quite confident that I can paint the armour rims around this model after spraying it in lead belcher. So I most probably am going to glue this one to the hips. So that's B01, which is right here. There's a B there, and this is the part we need. I always clip every single piece off. I never shortcut and try and rip it off or bend it off. I always try and clip as close to the part as possible. And if it looks like the connector is going to do your piece some damage, clip a bit away, and then you can just shave that off with your hobby knife. So that's the front of the hip armour as well. So I'm just going to show you how I operate this part. So firstly, I'll have a look at the piece and just cut. It's up to you if you want to, like, you know, cut against a cutting mat and stuff. I'm quite experienced now in this. I mean, accidents do happen, obviously, you know, but you just try and avoid them where possible. But Okay, now I'm finished with that. It really depends on your preference now. Now that I've finished cutting off the excess, it really depends on your style. Sometimes I will use my file straight away and just file all the mould lines I can see, and sometimes I'll just glue the parts together and then file the mould lines and the joins together. And that's what I think I'll do with this one. It doesn't look too difficult to do both, but it really is up to you at this point. This one rarely gets stuck with any glue because I use it every day, but if you haven't used yours for a while, I know it says no naked flame, but what I do to get a blockage out is get a needle or a pin and try and push it down. If that doesn't work, a naked flame does work, but obviously, yeah, just keep it right there and only for a couple of seconds. But I've always done that. I've never had any issues, but be careful because it is flammable, obviously. So I just put a little bit of glue, as little as I can, really, just, you know, where the pieces meet, I try and put a bit more on. You only need to do it on one side, not on both. And there you go. That's now on. And then you've got this this rear part too. This rear part looks like it's going to be a bit tricky to actually get rid of that divot that I've caused with the cutting. So I'll just give it a bit of a file down. No other mould lines, sorted. Now, you know, you can keep this in water, but you know, this is metal at the end of the day, and you know, introducing any kind of water may cause rust and things like that, but it's up to you. If you dip this in water first, you won't have any dust and it looks cleaner, but I don't mind a little bit dust on there because I brush it off with that really nice plastic brush. So that's I'm happy with that piece too. So let's just put this on here. So have a quick look at the instruction. It looks like that goes on the top like so, and it looks like a nice join. So that's what we'll do. So we'll just put a little bit of glue on here. Obviously the key is try not to get any glue on your fingers. And if you can spot a bit of glue, I don't think I've got any glue there, obviously then don't touch that piece again. All of these things I'm saying are quite self-explanatory, I'm sure, but this is for people with, like, this is the first big, I say big model, you know what I mean. If you've never had a Titan before, a Titanicus Titan, this is to help you guys out. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll file this down, and if I'm comfortable with gluing that on, I will do. But if not, I'll just leave it separately, and you can have that for sub-assembly. That's the end of my first part of the video. What I'll do next is build all of the rest of the leg section and the feet, and most probably all the armour parts. Join me in the next video where the legs will be constructed, and we'll take a crack at the body and all the void shields and put that on there. And then I think I'll do a third video just covering the weapons, and finally a fourth video putting it all together, along with a review, obviously. So if you do have any questions about my processes or this model, please do put them in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.